Parliament for North Tongue, as you said earlier, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who actually called for this protest. And we're aware that a number of institutions are also part of this protest. TUC is part of it. Federation of Labour is part of it. We're also aware United Gadangbe Caucus, part of this protest currently ongoing. Coalition of La Youth Associations, Ghana Action Network, and Arise Ghana. And of course, some other Ghanaians who find it necessary to be part of this protest. Let me just remind us that it is about the sale of 60% of the stake of SNIT in 4 main hotels. Originally, we heard about 6 hotels, but we were told that 2 others were not. Eventually, they let them go. So we have 4. La Beach, that's the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Labadi Beach Hotel, Elmina Beach Resort, and of course, Ridge Royal Hotel. And I'm sure if you've been following this conversation, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa at a point was actually releasing documents surrounding the profitability of Labadi Beach Hotel, for instance.
90% occupancy and the taxes they had paid, plus profit that have been declared by the company. And he was wondering why, such a profitable venture would be thrown out there for sale, literally.
Exactly. And the fact that these... Well, you just said it. These hotels are already doing well, so why do you want to sell them? Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa has been speaking to us. I mean, he was on TV earlier before we spoke to the Ladadeko.
But I spoke with him on radio, a one-on-one conversation earlier on Sunrise.
And basically, he's saying that by close of this demonstration, the protesters expect that the president would have said, we are putting a halt to the sale of these hotels to Brian Champong, the Minister for Agriculture. And he's been giving reasons, conflict of interest, the fact that as far as he's aware, Brian Champong has not even sought permission from the Speaker to be engaged in any profitable adventure of a sort. And a while ago when he spoke to us, he talked about the fact that Rock City itself is a loss-making entity. And he said SNIT has not been honest on issues with us. And like I just said, he's expecting that the president will put a halt to this.
Well, there are 2 schools of thought. One that says that, look at Brian Champong, Minister for Agri and Cabinet Minister, as a business person who also has business interest and you'll want to scale up at every opportunity, expand and all of that. And then there's another conversation, another leg of the conversation that says, look, he is conflicted in the current circumstances because he sits at cabinet, right? And the example of Pateku, the fox, is used here, where you have to share meat for the family, and then you are not the first to pick, but you're supposed to be the last to pick. In this instance, it does appear that, per that school of thought, Mr. Brian Champong and people who are connected to him or who are urging him on to go ahead with this because he put in a bid and then he won the bid, so he has to get it. They are suggesting that the people in power who are supposed to be distributing the chunks of meat, evenly for everybody to have it, are the first who are picking the best part of the meat, and that is not so palatable in their eyes. Let's cross over back now to the grounds. Eric Mawenek better than engaging with some of the protesters. We'll have to work on those ones again and get back. But again, so I don't think that a lot of people understand the weight of this demonstration or protest, because if you are a worker in the Republic of Ghana, all right, you automatically are a member of SNIT, and then you are a contributor of SNIT. So whatever SNIT has business to do with, or whichever entity SNIT engages, should be of importance to you, to the extent that it is your contributions,
your future
as a member, which have been invested into those entities or business ventures, and which dividends will be distributed evenly for everybody to have. So if people perhaps understood that this is not just about some entity called SNIT sitting somewhere, but this is actually money out of their pockets, which has been invested. And if the investment is good, the dividends will be good. If the investment is bad, they would have nothing.
And especially
their future will be in jeopardy.
Yes, especially coming at a time when the International Labour Organization issued a report telling us how the SNIT's situation is. Let me just remind us again. From that report from the ILO, it said that as of the end of December 2021, the government owed SNIT 9.35 billion Ghana cedis, with late payments accounting for 6.9 billion cedis of this debt. That's from the ILO. And it said that SNIT also covers 1.6 million workers. That's 16% of all Ghanaian workers as of 2020. So if Johnnie Hughes is telling you about you being a worker and this thing concerning you, that's the details of the report coming there from the ILO. SNIT has experienced a deficit of 442 million and 473 million Ghana cedis in 2018 and 2019.
Great. Now, we look at the SNIT board, focus on the labor representation, SNIT asset sale to Rock City, the controversy. That's what we're discussing because the demonstration is ongoing and we have our men on the ground. We'll cross over in a bit. Madam Elizabeth Ohene is the board chairman of SNIT, right? And then Dr. Emmanuel Idusakode is the representative of Ghana Employers Association. Mr. John Senanu Amegashi is the rep of organized labor. And Mr. Joshua Ansa is the representative also of organized labor. We know that SNIT asset sale, SNIT reasons for selling 60% stake in 8 hotels. We are told that is because of the provision of capital injection, right? They want some more money to assist and improve the hotel management and also to develop hotels into a world-class hotel. That's why SNIT says, look, they want to sell these hotels, but are these reasons tenable? Various arguments have been raised that if the argument is that Labadi Beach Hotel is the only profitable hotel among the lot which is being sold, what happened in the past with the other 5? How were they managed? Were they managed to the best of ability, the best interest of the people? Why is SNIT now coming? Which is why I find the point that Sami Okujetua Blackwell raises, that SNIT ought to be truthful and come clean, with the current situation that they have. There's some detail about the SNIT board. Dr. Evans Ageme Jikum is also a representative of organized labor on the SNIT board. Miss Ivy Beto Naso is a rep of organized labor. Mr. Benjamin Odute, assuming, is a rep SNIT Pensioners Association, and Mr. Peter Osei Dia is the president's nominee on the SNIT board. So we've given you the detail. Beatrice, there's some other, some more names coming up. I mentioned Elizabeth Ohene earlier. Alsafu Mafu's son, who's now the Director General of SNIT, is there, and the other details that we'll share with you as we get ready to move on. And I'm speaking with somebody who's so spirited. Maybe we'll hear him.
Baumia is coming around. He want to baptize, but we are not accept Baumia in the body. We're done. We're taking John Mama to the highest level. I'm done.
Let's speak to another individual, a person living with disability. Sir,
yes, sir.
Why have you not decided to go to work, get something to be doing, and you're deciding to be on the streets today?
Thank you very much. Now, I'm working at Tobut. Tobut is no more function. I have no job to do. I have a wife and children. They are attending school. Ghana, the youth have no future. Everything is selling outright. So I joined this based on that. I want to have my future. That is why I joined this demonstration.
The toll booth, when they asked you to go home, they said they were going to pay you every money that you were owed. Have they paid you the monies that you were owed?
My brother, nothing. Nothing has been given to us. I'm telling you. I work. Now I have to do bala. My friends, relatives are supporting me. I have 6 children. My firstborn has completed secondary school. He's supposed to go to Lagos, but I have no money to go. He's sitting at home. So I joined this because of that.
How many months are you owed? when you are asked to go home, how many months does the government owe you?
My brother, we are working under. We are working, and somebody is giving us something small. Yes, at the end of the month. But now nothing is being given to us.
Right.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's speak to organized labor now. Nayeli has been instrumental in all of this. She spoke before the protest even started. Now, I've just read some questions. Some people have asked, where is the TUC boss amongst the other respected labor group in leadership in this very important protest?
Well, it's not just the TUC, but it's all organized labor groups. All organized labor groups, and I repeat, all organized labor groups, some of whom are here.
Right.
But the heartening thing is you see a lot of ordinary Ghanaians, and that's so pleasing because this is about Ghana, not about any individual, not about any particular grouping. It is about SNIT. And long before you and me came here on earth, SNIT was here. So why should we plunder it? Why should we divide it and sell it to some? You know, so this is what it is. Especially when the people who go on retirement are going on retirement purpose.
Right. We know that organized labor, all the labor groupings, when the news came up, you agitated, you met the president, you've met the labor and employment relations minister, you've met the board of SNIT. What level of assurance have you received from all of these respective groupings, particularly the board of SNIT, with regards to the sale of these hotels, their stake in these hotels?
We are still meeting, by the way.
3FM
We're still meeting.
92.7.
And for me, I think it's just a tactic to buy time. That's what I think. Because nothing, what organized labor is demanding is let's stop the sale, simple. But we're not seeing any of that happen, you know, so.
What will be the demand, considering that you make that it's the case or the point you make that all of that is delayed tactics? You feel it's delayed tactics to see through the sale, or delayed tactics and then in the end they decide to abrogate the sale?
You know, the good thing is that the whole of Ghana is here, and the whole of Ghana is watching. And the whole of Ghana will hit the streets when there is need to. And for us in labor, we do what we know how to do best, demonstrate, strike. So I'm sure if organized labor leadership will have to take a decision, when it gets there, they will.
When it gets there, they will. We'll interact again shortly as to the expectations
3FM
of the president. Thank you
92.7.
for speaking to us. That's Nayeli. She's with organized labor. They are here as well, fully represented. Makes a case that it's not just the TUC or CLOCSAG or the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association or the Federation of Labor.
So entirely, this is all of labor. And we just run you through what the board composition is. The board chair for SNIT is Ms. Elizabeth Ekwiohene. Dr. Emmanuel Edusa Akodie is there as a representative of the Ghana Employers Association. Mr. John Senanu Amegashi is a rep from Organized Labor. Mr. Joshua Ansa is also a rep from Organized Labor. And these are the faces. You have Mrs. Gloria Irene Amaki Paida is the president's nominee. Mrs. Abena Osea Sari is the rep of the finance ministry. Mr. Kofi Bosompim Osafomaf is the director general. Mrs. Gifty Annan is the company secretary. And you have all these persons. Dr. Evans Ageme is a rep of Organized Labor. Miss Ivy Betu Naso is a rep of Organized Labor. Mr. Benjamin Odote, assuming rep SNIT Pensioners Association, and president's nominee, Mr. Peter Dua. You asked a very simple but important question. That look, all these reps of Organized Labor there, they were there at the time when the idea came that let's sell these properties.
Yes.
They even discussed it, because if you understand the process of putting in a tender and all of that, it takes time. All right, the process of even entering and bidding and shortlisting, they were there. Why didn't they speak up? And they had to wait for Okudzeto Blackwell to speak up. all right, before they started speaking up to hit the streets. We wouldn't have known anyway.
Who would have raised the issue? Because as far as we are concerned, if we are going by the letter which was issued by SNIT in response to Okudzeto Ablakwa's request and the need for us to probe this, the letter seemed to have given the idea that this whole tendering process might have started somewhere 2018, 2019, thereabouts. I'm just trying to get the exact date, but it was certainly before the 2020 general election.
So what we know is that blatant violations of Article 78.3 and 98.2 of the 1992 Constitution are diligent checks from Parliament's Committee on Office of Profit revealed that Honorable Brian Champon, as you said, so we're just giving basis for it, has not applied and does not have the permission of the Speaker of Parliament to hold an office of profit. And the rules are clear. Standing orders, the Constitution is clear that if you are a member of Parliament and you want to get into business, the Speaker must give you the leave and license so to do. We do know for a fact, according to Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, that Mr. Brian Champon has not done that. So what does that mean? What are the ramifications? What other facts we know, Kunzo Tiani? We also have some more detail on it, but you were checking on
the time, and it's actually in 2018. It says the trust commenced the process with engagement of a transaction advisor through the ICT method of procurement with publication of advertisement in the Daily Graphic on 14th November 2018 and in the Ghanaian Times on 15th November 2018.
Right.
So as far back between 2018 and now, how many years? And it took Okudzeto Ablakwa
to come and tell us this. Now, let's go back to the detail from the International Labour Organization. We know that the trust commenced the process with the engagement of transaction advisor through, we have that detail already. Now, over the last 12 years, returns of SNIT assets has average of 12.2% and further 0.9% after inflation is factored out. This figure, according to the International Labour Organization, is 70% less than the average return on a 91-day Treasury bill. That's 12.2% average against 17.5%. So SNIT covers 1.6 million workers. That's 16% of all Ghanaian workers as at 2020. SNIT has experienced deficit of 442 million and 473 million Ghana cedis in 2018 and 2019 respectively.
Now, the effect of this, based on this report, is that by the year 2030, SNIT's reserve will be depleted, indicating a point where the scheme can no longer sustain itself without additional funding.
And that's what SNIT fought back when the ILO brought that information out, that suggesting that, well, that's not the case. But then it doesn't lie in the mouth of SNIT to say that people retire and go home as paupers, as what do you call it? Ayele said, people go home as paupers.
And she even cited the police officers.
Right.
Police service.
They have contributed. I have instance of, for example, SNIT having an 80% stake in STC, right? And for the last 10 years or so, STC has really not given any proper, money in terms of the investment that SNIT has done. They have not given anything. STC is but one of 10 organizations that SNIT has invested our money, you and I, and those listening to us, that they have not gotten anything out of. That's one. Two, if these monies are supposed to be, invested on our behalf, and yet those monies are deducted, but they are not paid, it means that if, for example, every month 50 cedis is deducted from your salary, for your future, and it is invested, you would have made something by the next 20, 30 years. However, if that money is deducted and nothing happens, you will still have 50 cedis times those 20 years, and it would actually be nothing.
And I know recently you had Nana Kumia, the boss of STC, on Sunrise. I'm just wondering whether he gave any assurances at all as regards this very investment by SNIT that we are not seeing much from.
It would shock you to know that STC is not the only corporate. Graphic Communications Group Limited, Tier 2, all the technical universities, so many of them, Metro Mass Transit, they all have their Tier 2 deducted, and Tier 2 is 5.5% of your basic salary. So the 13% is what is deducted and taken to SNIT, right? And then the 5.5% is Tier 2 of your choosing, right? Now, if you put it together, that's 18.5, and then 2.5% of that is taken and then given to NHIS or NHIE for health insurance, and then the remainder, right, is what is left to be put in there for your Tier 1. So you ask for your 5% tier 2. Is there money that has been deducted from your basic salary that has to be given out, for investment? But if that's not happening, there's a problem.
But again, it goes back to the same question I asked earlier. The Labour representatives have been on the SNIT board for so long. How are they scrutinizing the kind of investments that SNIT is embarking on?
As of the end of December 2021, for those of you who don't know, the government owed SNIT 9.35 billion. As of the end of 2021, the government owed SNIT 9.35 billion, with late payments accounting for 6.9 billion of this debt, according to the International Labour Organization. Well, we'll continue because it's midday now. Beatrice Adu will bring you the news update live on 3FM 92.7. My name is Johnnie Hughes. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, on Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7. On behalf of the rest of the team, good afternoon.